to do more fun stuff. Looks like I need to adjust my microphone here. Yeah, I need that Allen key to fix that. I'll do that another time. Anyway, I had a good question from Pilot Bob on the stream channel, and that was about how do we manage what we do. So I think we'll give like how do we manage getting a pull request done for one particular feature, and things like that. So I think well, let me just let me pause this for a second here. I gotta adjust this this microphone. I hope I have my stuff here. 1 second. I believe I have my Allen key here. Just got to tighten this up. One second. Just as I start the stream, the stupid microphone arm needs tightening. So 1 second. Okay. So anyway, got an Allen key. See if that one fits. Actually, it does. Boy, was this really getting low on. There we go. I should tighten it up. What else could we use tightening here? This guy swivels okay, but okay. Now we're good. Let's see. Still kind of saggy. This guy could use a tighten. Oh, that's just a regular. Okay, there. I think that should do it. All right. I guess I should have these Allen keys on hand. I'm gonna have to get them. Okay, microphone in place. That was it was kind of unnoticeable. The microphone was getting lower and lower, day by day, little by little, and I never really noticed it. So, oh wait, I do actually have to tighten one more joint on here. It's kind of, there we go. For this one, you really gotta, after adjusting anything, you really gotta retighten them. So anyway, it seems to be a good, very compact monitor arm. It's not one of those old school lamp type of monitor arms. It's actually quite nice. It just kind of flies over the desk, and it kind of gets attached not on the side but at the back, so it swings out quite nicely. Anyway, back to the task at hand here. Yeah, the question was how do we make sure that these pull requests get done as a branch, and how do we track the overall progress without the event model changing depending on what branch we're at. So we kind of want to have a view of where things are at. Meanwhile, keeping track of the event model separately. Now, to answer Pilot Bob's question, how we do that with clients right now is that none of the clients really track the event model within the repository. This is something I want to have done so that projects have the event model in the repository. So this is something I'm trying to change in the industry so that we have the source of truth in one place along with the repo, instead of all over the place. So let me see if I can show you what I have in mind. One of the features that got added to Git is Worktree. So in other words, if in your repo you don't just have one working folder where you have a specific branch checked out, you can have more than one branch checked out. And that's kind of what I want to do. The progress branch might be the one where we update the event model all the time, so that people can always look at the state of the project, but then not have that view obscured when they check out a particular branch to work on one of the features. So now, one of the things about, if I was to make a branch called, let's call it progress. I'm going to be in Git for a little bit here. So I made a branch called progress. And if I check this out, let's move this guy up here for now. So git branch list. I have a few, like Elixir version that's actually pushed up, so I don't want to deal with that currently here. So I'm going to remove that branch. Git branch delete. Elixir is not fully merged. I sure want to delete it. I know it's not merged because it's a separate thing, so I don't want it merged into main. Okay, and that was pushed up, so that's fine. Also, our reflog will have it, so if you ever worked on something locally, your reflog should have anything you worked on in here, including the Elixir version. You can see down here, origin Elixir, checked out moving from main to Elixir. All that kind of stuff is is kept track of here. So now git branch, we have main and we have our progress branch, and we want to start using feature branches for our work. But there's a problem with the progress branch. If I was to now check out the progress branch, and I look at that, I see that I have all these things in here. And let's say I just want to have my event model in here. So if I remove everything in here, let's say app.js, event store. Actually, I need to recursively remove app.js, event store. Right, have that. Package JSON. This is kind of like open heart surgery on here. See, I don't want to change my VS Code stuff. So let's take a look at what you can see that when I was about to remove all those things, it was going to cause havoc in here. So I kind of want to make a work tree for the progress branch, right? So git work tree, create, as a create, I think it's create. Oh. So let's use AI because it would know. Create a work tree for the progress branch, right? Oh, I'm switched to progress branch. So control, let's get out of here and go to main, back to main. So git checkout. I'll get to my original point in a second here. It's about how you clean up a branch and where you started that causes some issues with how you merge in the future, because everything you do in a branch is done by a snapshot of what the current thing is. But when you're merging, the changes are applied as patches. So if I remove everything inside the progress branch, that would always be looked at whenever I want to merge that in anywhere. It would automatically want to remove those files because that's what this side of the merge wants to do. And merges try to make both sides happen unless you take a specific strategy such as ours. There's multiple merge strategies that Git supports, but anyway, we'll do that in a second here. So go back to this branch. Just take a look at what we have. We have some changes here again in my draw.io. I want to see what that is. So git diff, ignore all space, and I want to color the words. Interesting. See how this is really bizarre. So style is added, parent is 0. Yeah, that's, and of course this graph model up there, that gives me my viewport. I think, you know, this how zoomed I am, I believe, or where my top left corner is, one of those two. So it's kind of weird. Draw.io saves a bit of like your work environment along with the structure, which is I don't like those things being mixed. Your IDEs certainly save their own stuff in their dot folders and don't, you know, save a lot of this type of stuff, you know, what file you have open and all that inside the actual source. So let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, we have some geometry done. You know what? I really don't care what these things are. Some of these things are valuable. What is that? That's some styling changes. Very, very weird. So that's, yeah, that's some arrow styles that we changed. A lot of this is positioning. I think we moved a bunch of stuff. Anyway, might as well just push this up as the latest version. I see a lot of changes for moving things left. You can see those X coordinates changing. So that's kind of what we did. We did some renaming here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, lots of, so every time you do an enter, like space character, it has a break. It's saving all this as HTML, any edits. So while it's nice, okay, we did add a bunch of stuff here. So this is legit stuff that we added. Please save this so you can continue to suggest and vote. Okay, so this does have our latest changes in here, which I don't think we put in. I just want to double check what that text is here. Welcome to, okay, yeah, so these are our, and I don't know why. You see this kind of got merged into one. I'm going to have even more changes. So yeah, we can save this, but I want to clean it up before. Sorry for the little side quest here. One of many side quests. I am on a limited time. I do have a meeting, but I will. You see that grabbed it as well. So now I'm going to be grabbing way too many things. What happened here? Can we control Z out of my situation here? Oh. Okay, so that's bizarre that it's showing and okay, so okay. I think that's kind of where we want to step back to. I don't know what else I undid. We have all of that. We have this part which was important. And I think we were working on this where we didn't want this stuff. So I'm going to control Y all of this. Why is control Y not working? Redo, 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 redo. Oh, I see. Some of that stuff is with the progress, so that's my mistake. Okay, I've redone everything. This is kind of where we left off. Control Z, that last move. Okay, so this is, if I do the layers and I switch off the event model, yeah, I have this, which shouldn't have been here. Yeah, we kind of stopped at this part. So I'm going to go to the progress and take this off, then cut this out. Control X. Come on, Control X. Why is this not? Get out of here. Control X. Okay, there we go. So now we do this, get rid of progress, make sure we're editing that. And I'm going to paste that here. I just want to see what I did here. Okay, generate code. Right, so that's what that does. This is create conference URL. Oh, okay. I don't think we wanted that. We actually, that was an artifact that was left on the progress layer. So I'm going to delete that. I think this is the state of things where we're creating the conference URL. We show that we have this whole idea of generating a unique identifier for the conference to have a proper URL for people joining. And then, of course, I should be highlighting this in green because that's provided here. Let's just clean that up a little bit more. Again, side quest here. Let's go for the text. Background color, we still have that apply. So we have that being generated and we show that that's coming out here. This, I don't know if we can have a background color for that. It doesn't work yet. I'd have to edit that. But yeah, the QR code does come from here. I could put a little border around it to show that it's green, that it's actually coming from here. I like to highlight the dynamic information being displayed on the page versus inputs coming in. So someone clicking a button or values coming in from fields. I like to do that. Again, this arrow here is showing that the name of the button is open and closed registration. It flips between the two texts. We could have these as two separate buttons, one obviously disabled, the other enabled, just to make that a little bit more obvious. But I think for the sake of brevity, we're going to just have one button that changes the word open to close, depending on the state of that. So, yeah, hopefully that makes sense. This is where we got to last time in specifying this. So now I'm kind of happy the way it looks. We can see the progress. And now we're going to organize things because Pilot Bob did mention that, yeah, we're getting to some issues. I got to double check on the stream. If you want to chat, it's through Discord, Twitch, any of those things. I'm just going to look here. Yeah, no one's in the chat yet. Just make sure that chat is streaming. Good. So that's where the chat will show up. Let's get rid of this for now. Get rid of our layers. I think we're happy with the way things are shown right now. So get status. I just want to make sure that this is the only thing that we've got changed. Let's make this window bigger so we can look at all of our stuff. Yeah, it's just this one that's modified. So if we add everything and git commit cleaned up em and push that up, we have our event model done. We do have, again, our branches. So back to the problem. Again, to restate the problem, how do we keep this as a separate thing from all the PRs and all the work on the separate slices that we're going to have? So right now, if I do a git log graph, I notice that the main and okay, so now we've diverged. Progress was here. I actually want to move the progress branch to be right where we are right now, just to make a point. So I can update a local branch if it's not checked out by doing git push, and we specify the local repo dot, and we want to push where we are, which is head into progress. So the little colon syntax here is source destination references. So the source is the commit that the current checkout is at, and the destination is the progress branch. So this is how, and because we're doing this locally, it's doing this locally. Usually you reserve push for remotes, but you can also treat your local repository as a remote. So there you go. Now progress is where we want it to be, right here. Oops, don't want to do that. So main and progress are at the same part of the graph here. Yeah, so how do we now keep track of progress? Progress is going to be an issue because let's do a work tree now. Create work tree for progress branch, right? So progress work tree. I don't know if I like the work tree syntax, so I'm gonna say thank you for suggestion. I'm gonna try and do something that'll make it easier to navigate these things. I'm gonna do underscore WK dash progress for work tree, and underscore should put it up at the top so we can move things. And I don't know if I want it there. I think it should be able to have it at the same level, right? Okay, so now we have a work tree progress, and notice that in here we have everything duplicated, which is not good. I don't want the progress to have that. So here is the issue. Let's change directory to work tree progress. Okay. Notice we're on the progress branch just by switching directories. And here, I want to clean this up, right? So let's look. It's got all this junk in here. We don't want that. Let's just double check that it's got, that it's got, it's got the Git folder in here as well, all that kind of stuff. I'm kind of wondering if Worktree has anything in there that's that changes in Git. So let's list .git. Not a directory. Oh, interesting. So that's just a file, a .git file in the Worktree. Interesting. What does .git have in it? Ah, okay. So interesting. So there's work trees. So basically, if we list .git/worktree, so Git's really good at tracking things inside its .git folder. So here is how it links work trees to all that stuff. So we have that, and it's got a whole bunch of stuff that it's tracking here, just like you would have. It's interesting to have this commander, and then have so it's quite neat that it basically understands that we have this work tree in here. And of course, if we cd ... and git status Oh, interesting. It does have that as an untracked file. So note to self, if you do work trees in your current folder, you should probably have them in your git ignore. So let's try and echo. Yeah, so this might change the way you do your source versioning, where you kind of have a parent folder for the project, and then the Git repo is one level in, so you can have work trees beside that. I'm gonna try this like that, just to see if this ignore works. No, it didn't do that. Oh, I actually have to add it first, I think. Git add git ignore. Git status. No, it's still there. So let's go back to add to git ignore file. So all dirs that start with _work are ignored. I see. So I don't need the extra star. So let's do that. Git status. Oops. Escape that. Yeah, so it does ignore that now. So git add. And I have a little bit of garbage in there, but that's okay. I'll keep that in. That's all we have. Git commit. Just see, make sure that we have only one thing here. Ignore work trees used in main work tree. Okay, so we have that done. Now, if we go back to our progress, what happens here is if I clean this up. So if I list everything here, I have a whole bunch of things besides the event model.drawio, and I want to get rid of it. Of course, I want to keep the .git folder because that's linked to how work trees work. So, but I want to get rid of everything else. So let's just do that. I don't need cursor ignore in here. I don't need the events, even though I think events, I don't think it copied that. Would be interesting. ls events. Oh no, that's not our, never mind. I think it was our event store where we actually store those things. And these are ignored. So as we're running, we're storing the events here. And that's, of course, on the ignore path. So it's not, it's not doing any of that. So now, because this only has the draw.io thing, we don't even need the .gitignore folder in here, or file. So we want to remove recursively app.js .cursor ignore, definitely events. We want the package stuff. We're not building anything in this branch. README for sure. .vs code we don't need. We don't need the commands. We don't need package lock as well. Package lock JSON. We don't need the public folder, which is, and the views we don't need as well. Okay, so now LSA, it should just have that get we don't even need the git ignore. So dot git ignore. We're not really doing anything. So this is nice and clean. we only have the event model in here, and then of course the little Git folder that has kind of the link to the fact that this is a work tree. So if I do git add, and this is where A comes in really well, because this really does, I use A instead of dot, because if I'm in a subfolder, if there was a subfolder in here and I did a git dot, it would only add what's in the subfolder. I really want to have that snapshot mindset that Git enforces, which is your work tree changed, and doing git add dot is sort of like git add selectively adding files, which is not recommended. You kind of want to have any kind of side effects captured, and your judgment may not be good enough to, or you just might be tired or whatever. You might not catch a file that's changed outside your folder structure that needs to be there to make your changes work. So I always do git add -a. That keeps me in that snapshotting mindset. So unfortunately, like many of the quote unquote best practices out there, everyone's doing git a dot because they're too lazy to hit a dash and a capital A. So I don't do that. I just do this. So now we have all of these things deleted, which is what we want. And now we can do a git commit, and we can say cleaned up progress to only include em. Right, and we can push this just so we have that up there. Now here's the issue. If we do, if we go back to our main thing here, and we already have a divergence here, and let's say, oh, I want, in the main branch, I want to update our version of the progress tracking to be, what's being done here. So if I do a git merge of progress, I kind of don't want to destroy this one, so I'm going to make another branch, git branch, and we're going to call it main2. Yes, I know, creative, right? So, and we can do work tree git work tree add work tree main2, and just call it main2. Okay, and so then we can do a cd. Notice that there's a work tree main2 up here. Cd work tree. Oh, did I just call them WK for work? I guess I put them WTs would be better, but whatever. Yeah, it is what it is. So if I look at that, this is just like our main one. But if I now do and let's just make sure that our git still makes sense. So we have progress, we have main2. So notice that we are currently on main2, which is the same as main. I don't want to break stuff in there. In fact, all of these files here are opened from the main work tree, not these ones. I want to play around in these here to show you some of these concepts. So git merge progress. There is a conflict, and it's because there's a .git folder is modified, right? So and that's because we modified the .git file, but in the other one we wanted to delete the entire thing, right? So we can just do a git rm dot, or actually in this case we want to keep it. So git add dot git ignore cat dot ignore, just to make sure there's no markers, but I think, oops, git ignore. Right. It's just the whole contents, because the other side was deleting the whole file. So now we're good. So git status. You see the problem here. If I finish this, git commit merged progress or updated EM, it deleted everything. I don't want that. And so this is one of the things where your progress branch actually has to start from before you added anything. So you really want to go to the initial commit that you have, git log reverse, and look at the initial commit here and just look at the stat on it just to see what we put in here. Right, and it was just the README. So that's a perfect place to actually start the progress branch. So I don't like this progress branch. This was a bad start, and what will happen is we will add the event model into this branch, but start the branch early on. So let's take two. Okay, we're going to remove this last commit. So let's do a git log all one line, whatever. So that merge here, we merge the progress branch. Because we started here, wanted to clean it up. That cleanup actually gets merged with whatever we want. And we want this progress branch to not be something that's highly destructive. We want the progress branch to only track changes in the EM. And by deleting and cleaning things up, we've effectively said that it affects all these other things by deleting them. There are ways to work around that. If I resolve, if before, I can do a git merge, no commit, and really tailor the work tree to be the way I want it. I can make that merge ignore all the deletes. That's one way to do it, but I'd rather keep things clean. And so what we should have been doing really is keeping track of progress from the beginning. And for new projects, this is kind of what we want to do. And so for Pilot Bob's question about how do we track individual things, well, this is kind of how we're going to do that. So I'm going to get rid of the main two after. That was just sort of an experiment here, just to show you how things work. But we do want to keep this work tree for progress. That's going to continue to live on. However, so let's go back to that cd work tree progress. I'm kind of getting sick of putting underscore here. If I'm going to use work tree all the time, I think I'm just going to do an underscore so that I can quickly tab complete the different places I want to be at. It would be kind of neat to be able to jump around all the work, all the different feature, all the different slices that are being worked on, by having them checked out as their own thing and having them working in their separate thing. Also having a separate environment for without causing a big change to all the files, because there's a whole bunch of things that happen. When you switch branches, it kind of throws the IDE through a loop, because you're changing so many underlying files, and there may be some things that it's trying to cache, etc. So all of these things are friction. Worktrees solve that by making these branches a lot more stable. So if I always have like a work tree for my integration branch, if I always have a work tree for my QA branch, if I always have a work tree for what's in production to quickly do a hotfix and things like that, that's actually really good. In the past, I've just had separate Git repos that are local, and I could push and pull between the local ones, but there was a lot of overhead in updating the references in all those Git directories. And of course, then you're distributing things like reflog and things like that that you kind of want to have consolidated into one repo. So work trees are a welcome addition to Git for sure. They solve a lot of these problems. Also makes it easier to experiment with things like subtrees inside them and all sorts of things. So hopefully, we'll see. So in order to fix this progress should not be here. It should be in our initial commit. So if we do a git log reverse and look at the first one, okay, so we have that on May 8th. We started this at the Como camp. Again, the origin of this project is to make an open spaces organization tool, and it's becoming kind of a fun experiment here. So someone's asking, what are you working on? So we're working on this project here, which is Open Spaces conference setup. Here are the screens that we have. Some of them, like these, are not yet working because they're in progress. So thanks for joining, by the way. So if we show the progress, this is in progress, this is done. And right now what we're doing is we're setting up an environment where it's easy to work on any of these slices as a pull request and a separate branch and to coordinate everything. And so the question is, where do we keep the progress so it's not affected by which branch you check out? So my suggestion is to have a progress branch. And we'll do that. And it's from this initial commit, right? So we can copy a bit of this. Oops. This particular commit here. So we control, oops. Let's go back here, initial commit. I'm just going to copy a bit of that. And I'm going to make sure that our progress branch is that. So let's reset. Yes, I do reset hard sometimes. I know that there's nothing checked out or anything. I'm not using get reset hard to clean up my working directory. I'm using it to point to the commit that I want to point at, which would be this one. Right. So now we're at the initial commit. So if I do a git log, I notice that's the only one, and I have just the progress here pointing at it, and it's back on the 8th. And this is where I want to copy now the current version of the event model. And so I'm going to do a git checkout of main, but I'm going to only check out the file event model dot draw IO, I believe. Right. So git status. And you have a new file. I'm gonna do a git commit. Notice that it actually puts it into the index when you do a checkout like this. So changes to be committed, you don't have to add that. It does that for you. I think there's a parameter you can add to make sure it's not like that, but anyway, you can take it out of the index if you don't want. So yeah, I mean, we could assume we could have an older version of the event model here to kind of simulate where we started from and all that, but let's leave that for another time to experiment. So initial EM tracking from progress branch. All right. And the reason I might want to merge the progress branch in is on GitHub, if I have the default view of the main branch, I don't want the EM to be missing from there. I want it to be there so that it's supposed to take place of the README file. So I want the updated status as often as possible in main. But I want to keep track of the changes in progress, so that Pilot Bob and others can kind of track what's being worked on, etc. And I don't want to keep destroying main. I want main to be quite focusing on the actual work instead of the tracking. So anyway, we're getting into philosophical sort of discussions here, whether the design of the system is part of the solution or not. I mean, I guess you could just keep going with main, and make work trees for your branches, and in main say that I'm working on that. That might be something that's a little bit easier. So we could try that as well. I wanted to just experiment a little bit with work trees and show if you want main to be used for example, main in a lot of our projects is used to show what's in production. And so do I really want the changes to the event model to constantly be bumping the main branch? I don't for our workflow. So anyway, depends on what you want to set up for your branches and how you want to show progress. This is just one way to do it, but there's definitely lots of ways. For this open source project, we could definitely have just additional work trees for the feature branches. And we could have the main branch to show completed work and to show who's working on what in the event model and things like that. So for open source projects, that might be the simplest thing, because then people don't have to remember extra workflow steps for just getting the project running. They're not going to have a work in progress get in the way. They'll be able to run the project without the extra slices that are being currently developed. So that's kind of what we do. But let's keep going down this road. I just want to show you that now that we have this progress here, I can push this, but it's going to get rejected because we pushed progress as something higher. Is going to reset and lose that history. So Git's not going to let us. The commit that's up on the server is not in the history of this commit, so it's going to give us an error. And so we just want to do a push force to reset that on the server. And that should reset our progress. So now if we do a cd ... and we're back on main, and we do git log, ignore work trees using the work folder cleaned up em. Okay, so we do have this problem with, I think, git log. Yeah, this one still has merged progress in here. So this is main 2, right? That's why I didn't want to destroy our main branch, and I had this experimental main 2. So let's go back to main. I think we are in main, but the work tree for main 2 is there. So let's get rid of that work tree. I forget the syntax. I've only been using work tree for a little bit. So git remove the work main 2 work tree. All right. All right, good. So it should do that. Okay, so we have the progress as a work tree, and there we can track what we're doing. But yeah, I'm kind of what I wanted to show before we finish here is if I have any updates to the progress and I merge that in, so cd work tree progress, and I actually open that up in here. So I can open up this other one, and let's just make some obvious changes. Some changes. Rid of that. and save it. Actually, I just wanted to make sure that git log has all that stuff cleaned up. Okay, it still has main2 in there, so I can get rid of that branch. Now our progress, notice the history, it's coming back as if it was created long time ago. That's another reason why for open source projects you probably don't want this progress branch. It's always going to be on the left hand side, bumping off your history to the left or to the right. So this progress has this modification, so let's add that and commit it. And we're going to have that as updating plans, updating design. So we have that done. And if I now go back to here, what is our problem with this? What did we change here? Again, oh, we scrolled around. I hate that. I wonder if there's like properties in here. Links, zoom. Okay. Can I turn off tracking where I am on this graph model? DX dy changes are driving me nuts. I don't want to, every time I scroll around on the model, I don't want this change to be there. Good God. I don't want to, yeah. Let's get rid of that. See, and it doesn't even, if I change that, it doesn't even move this view up here. At least I didn't see it move. So yeah, the minute I move this thing, like here, oh, now it didn't do it. If I close it, is that gonna do it? No. Okay, why did it keep... Okay, it's very selective as to when it opens this up. What the hell do I have? If I select something, is that the minute that it does something? Okay, it's a total mystery, but at random it seems to change, save some changes here. Yeah, okay, so it's clean. And now, however, if I do a git merge progress, I get a conflict because of some of those small changes. And we noticed that, yeah, we had probably some ignore work trees. Oh, cleaned up EM probably, among others. I forget which version I grabbed from here, but let's take a look at the difference here. So, it's conflicted. So where's my conflicted file? Main merge, draw.io, open with text editor. Okay, so yeah, it's got this dx dy here. And what else do we have? Yeah, a whole bunch of small little weird changes that I don't want to bother with. So yeah, resolve and merge editor. They're going to pop up properly. Why is it not popping up? Come on, come on. Pop up. Oh well. Whatever. Let's just do git checkout ours. I'll check out theirs. And here we can do event model draw.io. And now that should have gotten rid of all of those. Open with built-in text editor. So yeah, now you don't see any markers for conflicts. And we can git add a and git commit. And that's fine. And so now we have the progress branch merged in. But I think in this case, let's abandon this because this is something that we will probably want for an internal project where we mark progress in here, because the main branch is what's in production. Let's use the main branch in this project instead of progress. So I'm going to just remove the progress branch. In fact, I kind of don't want any of this stuff in here. And what I want to do is make a work tree for the individual pieces of functionality that others want to work on. So let's come up with a naming scheme for this. And actually, I will do some work right now on the piece of work that I had outstanding. Let's clean up our git first. Okay, so we want to remove the branch progress. Git. First of all, let's get rid of the tree for work tree. Remove. I forget. Anyway, Control K. Remove the progress work tree. It's good. It has proper context. So did that. That tree's gone. Now we can remove the branch. Git branch. Delete progress. We also want to remove progress branch from our remote. And then we want to reset to what main was before. So we want to git reset hard to origin main. And now if we do a git log all one graph, we're back to normal with the stupid stash there. I kind of don't care about the stash, honestly. We could get rid of the stash. Control K. Remove stash items and fish. Well, forget. Might have to do a for loop, right? Oh, clear. Okay, that'd be good. Escape. And now we want to see. Yeah, that's the latest stuff that we have. So let's say I am going to work on my particular piece of work here. So let's open up the event model. And let's look at the progress. So I have that as in progress, but I want to maybe do another one. So control copy. Let's say I want to do this, create the QR code page, right? And store this. So I'm going to paste here. I'm going to say that this is in progress and I want to work on this stuff right now. Okay. Oops, that is progress. Good. So actually I did that correctly. Good. So that is in main. So I can do git status and nothing to commit because we didn't save it. So where's the automatic saving? Why is that not doing that now? Okay, you can't win with this thing. Now it's not saving. So I have to press Control S. Now it's saved. Now we can do git status. And we have this. So git add a start show that I want to work on, and that would be request unique ID command. So request unique ID. That's for the conference. I guess I should name it conference, but whatever. Oops, that's the message. So I want to commit that. And I'm going to allow empty and then add that to amend. And then git add a git commit amend without a message, no edit for message. And I'll git log stat. We could see that I still have this particular change, which is what I wanted. Okay, so even if you screw up and start typing your commit message in your add command, you can still save yourself a bit of that by allowing an empty commit and then amending that commit with no edit. Git lets you do everything. It's pretty cool. All right, so now that we have that, I can show that I am doing a pull request on this by making a branch. So I can do a git and you know what? In order to keep all of the commits kind of in sync, I'm gonna suggest that because I want to merge this from the same point as others are going to be doing slices. So if others are going to be pulling slices off, I don't want multiple commits coming off. Does it really make sense to make that enforcement here? I don't think it does. So as long as our main branch only has pull requests being merged and updates to the event model for tracking work, I think we'll be good if we have that convention, right? So we could make a note up here about that workflow change. So let's do that. That way people that go into here will be able to see AI chat. Why is that here? Okay, I don't get out of here for now. Progress, we don't want to see. Actually, we do want to see progress. God damn it. View layers. Yes, we do want to see everything, and we want to zoom out, and we want to move the event model a little bit further down so we can have some readme type instructions at the top. So that's fine here. Let's deselect everything. Let's zoom in a bit. Open space is set up. And over here, we want this kind of note where we could start to add some text. So here we'll say contributing, right? contributing to the project. And let's make that bigger so people can see it. View text. Where do we have that? This thing here. Text. We want to get that to be 20. And get this a little bit larger. And then here we want one update the EM. So there's an interesting conundrum, is that how do people indicate like what they want to change in the project? I have to, as the maintainer, I have to merge into main what people are changing their like what they're changing on the EM to show that they want to work on something. So I'm guessing there'll be a pull request from the same branch to say I want to start on this particular branch, and people will look at pull requests to see if a particular slice has already been pulled off, and they can look at those pull request versions of the EM to see that that's there. So update the EM in the first commit of your slice branch or feature branch or whatever, right? To make PR for the change. I should have more people as admins on this so they can approve them. So you can see in the main branch that this is good, right? And then 3, implement. Let's test this workflow. Implement the slice for make PR for the new version of the branch. To complete the slice work too. I'll clean this up in a second. Okay, so that's that. I can get rid of all this other stuff. Okay, so we have a little contributing thing here so people can kind of follow along in terms of, you know, what happens. Contributing to the project. I kind of want this to be even a bigger font. Let's make it 72 and then just like stretch this out. And then this, of course, we want a little bit larger as well. Annoying. Okay, there. And that we will make 48. 48 is kind of too small, isn't it? Really? I have to say a custom. Fine. 50. No, 60. That's it. Still too small. What size was this? 72. What size was this? 16 still. Why did that not change? $48. Too big. 28. Perfect. Okay. Good. So we have that. I hope these 4 steps make sense. So you update the EM in the first, okay, pull that pull request. When I see it, I'll merge it in. People can see what things are being worked on, but you could also see the outstanding pull requests at that point to kind of see what things are being worked on. So again, make sure to name it, use, okay, use okay, update the EM in the first commit of your slice branch. Make a PR for the change branch. Name the branch. Name the branch to reflect the state, the command, or the state view you are working on. Okay, that's good. And then, of course, so when you do a pull request listing, you'll see the outstanding ones are all of the yellow slices, and then so the things that are actually being worked on, which are all the yellow things. Right, so if you turn on the progress, you'll be able to see that. And I'm going to make one in here, which is this request ID. Okay, so, but anyway, I added, I added too much now. I added this thing. So I am going to remove my progress by Control X. I'm going to save this, Control S, and I'm going to update this to have those instructions. Update PR instructions. Okay, push those up. And now I'm going to git checkout my branch. Or should I do attempt to do a work tree? I guess I will. I'll create a work tree for an integration branch maybe as well to see if things still work. So I'll make a branch for my pull request. So git branch, and we want to call it, what was it called here? Request unique ID. Request unique ID, and this is going to be a state change. So let's do a C on here. I might as well make a branch for integration. I can just test if things are still working. And I can do a get work tree add. That guy. And then did that do it properly? I think I did the wrong. I didn't specify. I did not specify. Yeah, that's the problem. I needed to add that, and I'm going to have to remove that because I think that's just created it on main, which is a problem. So work tree, remove or delete. No, remove. Yeah, and then we do. Did that work? I hope so. Okay, so back to adding this, and there I want. Oh, good God. Okay, so no tab complete. Would that work? Okay, I think that did work. And then, of course, we want to do the same thing with the work tree integration. That tab complete worked. Why is one ignored and one isn't? This is strange. Git status. No, nothing to commit. So why is one of them highlighted and one isn't on here? Is this just a thing with VS Code that it ignores one here and another not? Very strange. Okay. So we have that. If I now start to work on that particular one, I can open up this event model. And because I have that thing copied from the other one, I can paste it here. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, so let's try again. I gotta. Does it? Okay, so the. So it's got its own clipboard. I can't paste this into the other one. That's odd. So if I'm in here and I go to this one, it's not pasting it. Okay, whatever. Not a big deal. Let's close this. Let's control Z out of that one. See that? It's still. Did it change something? Of course it did. So yeah, okay. If I make a change, it also saves where I'm looking, which is annoying. And I just need to restore. Fine. And so if I now change my event model here, the progress, yes, I want to change the progress. I do want to have this as what I'm working on, so I will commit, copy this, and paste it here. Then I can show that I'm working on this. And save this. CD to our this guy here. Git add a git commit mark work as started, and I push that, And now I should be able to create a PR to myself. I'm guessing GitHub should allow that, just so I can follow the pattern here. GitHub PR view 13 web. I'm just going that way. Showed up on the other screen. Here it is. I'll pull that off. And you guys see here. So, okay. So here we have pull requests. There aren't any, but I can create a new pull request and I can do this. Able to merge. And it's going to go into main. Compare, yep. And that's going to have that cell and all this other crap. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. Well, I'm not even signed in. Come on. Let's try and type this better. Let's try that again. GitHub, yeah, personal tab, sure. Of course. Can't be too careful these days. I'm gonna use my YubiKey to sign in. If you're not using YubiKeys, you gotta start. Good. Check your device. Notification? No, I don't want that. Use a different passkey. Insert. There we go. What? This is not. Come on, come on. Yeah, what's wrong with my USB stuff? Come on. Oh, I think I put it up down. There we go. Yep. Try not to insert your YubiKey upside down, it won't work. Okay. So yeah, we have that, create pull request, and I'll just say starting work on this slice. Create pull request, blah, 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 all that. So now we should be able to see GitHub pull requests view. Yeah, it should, yeah, it showed me that that works. So I can do a GitHub PR merge and $14, right? So 14. So merge that, create a merge commit, delete branch locally and on GitHub. No, definitely not. What's next? Yeah, submit. Good. So if we do a cd minus and do a git pull on main, we should have this one now showing the contribution here. And we do. Okay, good, right? So now I can go back to working on our branch. And if I actually finish it, I can make another pull request from this branch to do that. So, yeah, the other thing that's really annoying me here is NVM. I'm not getting my tide prompt giving me my version anymore, which is odd. Anyway, I need to get going soon, but this is kind of how we want to work. I'm going to add this in progress. So, oops. Let's see how this goes. I don't think this is the one we want to update. We can look at this anyway. It doesn't matter. So we have this create conference URL QR code, which is easy. We need to make sure that this continue button on our time slots is going to work. So let's look at our time slots. So where do we have that? Handlebars, create space, time slots. Okay, so we have this button here, class form, button type, continue button. Okay, so we want this to go to Control K, make this go to, and we would do conference create conf ID. Does it really need that? Post doesn't need a form. Form action. Oh, because we're in the middle of a form. Okay, so yeah, I don't want any of this. I actually want a button outside. Oh, right. So this is a continue button. Name, label, required, submit. Class continue button. Okay, yeah, we don't want, that's to add time slots. We actually want another button. Yeah, start time, end time, the name, and then the ID, which we don't need anymore, right? This ID, hidden ID thing. We got to clean that up. There'll be another pull request for that. So we don't need that in there, but here we want to, it knew what I wanted to do. Almost. Let's instruct it a little bit better. Add another button outside the form to continue to the create conf ID page. So that's how we'll link that. Continue to create conference ID and generation here. Okay, sure, that's fine. I think we kind of want just to continue in here. That's fine. And then, of course, on our app, one thing that Pilot Bob did say is that we want to have maybe clean up our app to be separate pages, but right now we kind of don't want to. We'll just keep adding to this mess for now. Sorry. So submit topic. What do we have? Add time slot. Okay, so after the time slots, we are going to have this app get, and here we're going to have create conf ID. Yes. I don't know if we want all that. Create space. Did that change something? I hope it didn't. Our new stuff is here. Why did it jump up to there? Okay. So yeah, we have that space ID, get all events. Do I need that? I guess I do. Conf ID. Yeah, so we want to add a view, new file, and that's going to be create conf ID dot handlebars. And then here, Control K, add page for generating with one button, generating conf ID. Make it a full page, no JS. Okay, generate conference ID with a button. All right, that should be good enough. Except, okay, I have to go. So I actually started some coding. I wanted to show you this PR workflow. Hopefully that works. Pilot Bob, let me know how things go. We'll chat in the Discord as we usually do. And I'm just gonna keep working on. Whoa, why is that not? Oh, I see. Did I work on the wrong thing? Yes, I did. Here's the problem with with all that. I needed to create that in here. So gotta move that up here to this. I don't want to move it. Actually, I do want to move it. That I want to move. Create conf. Move it to views, please. Yes, move that here. See, you gotta know where you're working because my IDE had the main one open. So now we have this as the changes that we had here, which is not what we want. Anyway, it's kind of ugly anyway, so I'm just gonna copy this or cut it, and that should be the same. Why is this still showing differences? Okay, now it's not. Okay, good. So now we move this to time slots, handlebars. So we move that below here, below the form. I believe that's where it was. I can get rid of this generation crap here. Good. What else do we have modified on here? App.js. So we have our code here. It was really just this particular piece. So we can just cut that out and go to the proper app up here. And in here, we can go down below time slots. This is the time slot area. See, I have a blank space in between all the different slices. So here we're adding another one right and we can save that. Oops, cancel. I don't want that. Don't save. Git status should have all of those things. Modified that, added that. That looks good. Let's go back to the other branch. Git status. What do we have left over here? Modified. Git diff. We really have just some formatting stuff. No, we still have conf ID. So why is that still there? Get conf ID. Time slot handle get conf ID. Okay, we don't want this. Okay, so we copied it. We don't want it, so we'll delete it. Okay, now we got a green right there, so status should show nothing, which is great. And let's go back to where we're supposed to be working. And status does show all the things that we want in that particular thing. We're not done. This is kind of where we want to do the integration merge to see if things are working there. But git add all of those things, git commit, added new page, and continued to this page from time slots place. All right, so that's that. Let's push that up, and let me know what you think about the workflow. We can discuss it. I think it's really important to have something that's manageable like this for open source projects, that we have pull requests, but we also have a central place to see the event model and what things are being worked on, etc. So yeah, thanks again everyone that joined. More tomorrow as usual. I got a meeting to head to, so thanks for sticking around and exploring Git work tree. Yeah, just kind of early days, making sure you close up your files in your IDE, because you might be working on the wrong work tree. But nevertheless, it's easy to move things around, even if you make that mistake. Hope you learned other things. If you started to type a long commit message onto the wrong command, it's like the git add command, you can still make that work by adding by doing no edit and all of that kind of stuff. Anyway, maybe I'll make a few YouTube shorts out of some of those points, so people can, if you're subscribing to this channel on YouTube, you'll have these little learning moments kind of come in during the week. Here's a good way to get out of a situation where you kind of did the wrong option on the wrong command, and you can still kind of save a bit of time by not having to delete everything and go manipulate the index on Git. So anyway, thanks for joining. We will see you tomorrow to continue implementing this and trying out this new pull request workflow with event modeling at the root of the repo. So thanks. See you.